Here for you, life coaching. And today we're going to talk about how someone can place a curse on you and how it happened to me and how you can prevent it. Okay. But you need to be aware. Okay. It's all about awareness and it's all about your subconscious. So now, how does this happen? How does somebody place a curse on you? Like, how does somebody curse you with words? It's very easy. It's your subconscious. Good morning, Jay. It's very easy. It's your subconscious. So, first, I'm going to share with you my experience. Then, I'm going to tell you about the power of words and explain it out to you. And you can prevent this from happening to you in the future. So, my story and the curse. Okay. When I was about 11 or 12 years old, and I just told this story on my podcast. So if you want to check my podcast out, it's over there as well. It's called the Junior Kekuewa Jr. Show, and it's on all major networks. Apple Podcast, it's on Spotify, it's all over. Anyway, so now the curse, right? When I was 11 or 12 years old, my mother told me one day she was cleaning house. I remember she was cleaning house, and she told me I did something, and she said, "You know how clumsy you are." And that stuck. Now, I didn't realize it was stuck. And I'm pretty sure a lot of other things were stuck. It's just that I wasn't aware. Okay? Because we pick up everything in our subconscious. Okay? Your subconscious is a culmination of all of your senses. And I'm pretty sure a lot of things, right? Because we pick up a lot as we go along through life in our journey. Okay, so this was one of them. I did not know it until I was 40 years old, and my girlfriend at the time and I were doing something, and she said something, and I said, "Well, you know how clumsy I am." And she looked at me and she said, "You are not clumsy." And I said, "Oh, no, I'm clumsy." And she goes, "Who told you that?" And I had to stop and think. And that's when it hit me. I stopped and I thought about it and I go, my mom told me that. And I said, well, it has to be true. I mean, my mom knows me better than anybody. I mean, she's, and that was the curse. So from the time I was 11 until the time I was 40, I believed I was clumsy. It was a belief in my subconscious. Now, I have a chapter in my book. Yesterday we were talking about my book. We're not going to talk about the book today, but I need to show you chapter 5, the earth-shattering carelessness of authority in my book, The Universal Law of Attraction and Singing. Okay. When you get a comment from somebody or when you get judgment from someone, it could be your high school principal. It could be a college professor. It could be a military officer. It could be anyone you hold in high regard. When they tell you something, when they say something to you, it could be one of your mentors. But when they say something to you and you take it as gospel and you don't question it, you just accept it and you think about it, right? A belief is a thought you keep thinking. So as you keep thinking the thought, guess what happens? It becomes your reality. And you keep thinking these thoughts. Now they become beliefs. So when they become beliefs, what does the subconscious do? The subconscious verifies this. It shows you evidence of it. So it goes back and it goes, yeah, you remember the time you spilled the milk when you were eating cereal in the morning? Remember that? Remember this, right? And it starts to confirm this belief that you have, okay, whatever it is. And it took me until 40 years old to go, wait a minute, I'm not clumsy. And all I did was monitor myself for 2 weeks. And I paid close attention to the things I was doing for 2 weeks just to see if I was clumsy or not. And after 2 weeks, I go, okay, I'm not clumsy. The spell was broken. Now, people can place a spell on you like that, okay? Spells are not just, witchcraft, okay? Somebody can get in your head and plant a seed. And the only thing that's required is that you think about it. And when you keep thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it, your subconscious starts to believe it. Then it starts to give you confirmation. Then it becomes a belief. Then it becomes part of your paradigm. And your paradigm, right? If we look at the tree, the subconscious tree, the roots are your core beliefs, your subconscious beliefs. Okay, the body of the tree, the trunk of the tree, is your paradigm. It forms your attitude, how you see the world, how you look at things, what you think about things based upon your beliefs. Okay, the fruits of the tree on the top, the fruits are your actions based upon how you see the world, which is based upon what you believe. So now let's get into the power of words. The power of words. So one of my clients the other day gave me a reel of Billy Carson. Love Billy. Okay, I'm not hating on Billy or anything. Love Billy. I watch Billy. He's very knowledgeable, and I watch him on TikTok. I also watch him on Instagram. And he was talking about cymatic frequencies, and he was talking about the power of words and frequencies and everything. And it sounded very mystical, and it sounded very, it sounded very credible, and it was. He was telling the truth, but he wasn't telling the whole truth. He wasn't saying everything about it, but what he said was the truth. But he was speaking only about vibration, thought, and energy. Now, in vibration, thought, and energy, words have power. Words have strength. But Billy didn't explain about your subconscious, which is where it really matters, okay? Because, yeah, the other things are true. It is true. Because if you take a word, the word like, okay? If you say, I like you, and then you use the word love, or just say, I like that. See how it feels. Say, I like that. And then say, I love that. You see? When you speak it out loud, you get that feeling. And we've been conditioned to accept the word love with that feeling that you get when you say it. So that's the vibration, the thought, and energy working together. But the subconscious is a separate deal. So what's really involved, the entirety of what's involved is vibration, thought, energy, and your subconscious. Okay, that's what Billy Carson was leaving out. I'm sure he talks about it somewhere, but it wasn't on that reel. So it led people to believe that this was a little bit more woo-woo than it actually was. That it was a little bit more mystical than it actually was. Because it is mystical in the way that you're a human being. If you really want to see something mystical, magical, go in the bathroom, turn on the light, and look in the mirror. This is magical. The human being is magical because your subconscious can do a whole lot of things that you are probably not aware that it can do. Your subconscious is a very fine-tuned machine. Now, unless you raise your awareness and become aware of everything it does and the power of what it can do for you in the positive or the negative, depends on how you use it. It's like a knife. You can use it to, cut some meat to eat, or you can use it to hurt something or someone, right? Depends on how you use it. Your subconscious cannot judge. Your subconscious doesn't know right from wrong. Your subconscious just takes orders. It just believes what you tell it. And a belief is a thought you keep thinking. So the power of words, right? So the power of words shape your reality. This is where you get neurolinguistic programming, This is where you get that from. Key words that reference key things placed in a deliberate manner can change your paradigm. It can change the way you see things. I used to do this for a while. I used to do radio, and I used to do comedy on the radio. And I used to do a character, so I was actually voice acting on the radio. People think that, they see me as a radio personality in Hawaii, and in actuality, I was just a voice actor, basically. I was doing a character. But it was the words that I used, similar to NLP, it was the words that I used that conveyed a totally different image in the minds of the listeners. So you can say, he got hit, or you can say he got pounded, or you can say he got smashed, or you can say, right? You see? There's a different image that pops in your head. So it's all relative to the words that you use to paint the picture. And radio is theater of the mind. Now, the people that because within the serve this for yourself, the more they'll believe it. It's for yourself, the more they'll believe it. And when they believe it, the subconscious will start feeding them evidence of it. Some people live in torment. Some people get tormented by their thoughts all the time. Why? Because those few negative beliefs get in there. And after a while, they start believing those new beliefs, those negative beliefs. And the subconscious will verify and find evidence of those beliefs. It will point out to you. Now, if it's positive, it will point out good stuff, right? If it's positive, let's say the belief is, I'm really smart. Your subconscious will go, remember when you got A's on the test in college? Remember you got A's in high school? Remember when you used to get A's in elementary school and you got on the dean's list? You see? So that's in the positive. Now, if it's in the negative, right? Maybe the belief is you're so stupid. Your subconscious will start pulling from memory all the times that you made mistakes. And it'll go, see, look, you see, you made a stupid decision over here. You made another one the other year. Remember when you made that one? Well, that was a big one. You remember when you made that mistake? See? And it will start confirming the fact or the facts to back up the belief that you're stupid. Those are just examples, but I'm giving you a positive and negative example so that you're aware. Have you ever been sitting at home alone with too much time on your hands and your mind starts attacking you? It's your subconscious. Because your subconscious is gathering data. It just gathers data and it stores the data. You think you have a bad memory. All you need is something to trigger it, and then boom, there you go, right? Now you're into a thought pattern. Now you keep thinking the thought. Now you believe the thought. Then your subconscious starts giving you other thoughts to confirm the thought that you believe, that has become a belief. Then what happens? Then you have a negative complex. Then you have a bad attitude. Then you start thinking bad about this one. Then your self-esteem goes down. Your self-pride goes down. Your self-confidence just disintegrates like that. It just filters out. Why? Because you have evidence of all these things working against you. And negative self-talk, the talk that we tell ourselves about ourselves that's not good, it picks it up because it's subconscious as well. And now you start telling yourself things about yourself that aren't good. And now you doubt yourself. Doubt is rooted in fear. Anytime you doubt yourself, you're fearing something. Check it out. Every time you doubt yourself, it's rooted in fear. All the negative emotions are rooted in fear. So when you begin to doubt yourself, guess what? A little bit of fear going on under the surface, under the hood, so to speak. Hi, lady. Good morning. Hey, Tara. Good morning. So when you start feeling this way, what's the hack? What's the solution? You know what I'm going to say. Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization. Get your pen. Because if you know what you don't want, you know what you do want. Too many people start focusing on what they don't want. And what happens when you focus on something? It intensifies. You know, you'll hear people say, like, the last thing I want is for that to happen, right? And pretty soon it happens. Why? Because they brought it into their reality. Does it just happen like magic? No, but there's steps that happen. There's actions that you take based upon your fears that create your reality. So you'll be afraid of something happening, and subconsciously, you will start producing these actions that will lead you right towards that eventuality. That's how it happens. It happens with your help. It happens with your cooperation. You may not realize it because it's subconscious. Sub, under the surface. Thank you, lady. Thank you. You may not realize it, but that's what's going on. That's what's happening at the subconscious level. Now, you can also heal with words. So the power of words is not just negative. It's not like, oh, words have power, okay, curses and all of those things. No, it's not just that. It's good stuff too. You can heal with words. When you say things like, I am whole, I am love, I am kind, I am loving. And this is why when my clients first come in, when we do the intake on my clients, I have them write 100 positive I ams. I am loving. I am kind. I am generous. Okay? I am friendly. I am a good husband. I am a good wife. I am a good significant other. All of these things. And they have to write 100 of them. Why is that important to the subconscious? Because it starts to wake it up. Because I am is how God revealed himself to Moses. I am refers to your very being. Jesus Christ said the kingdom is within. The kingdom is in here. This is I am. As I am, so you are. And for you, I am is in here. You're not your body. You're not your name. You're the energy that lives in here. You know, this morning I heard this guy say, in a reference to spirit and soul, you know, he was talking about how they qualify the word soul and what it means. And I'm like, well, you know, your soul is in your body. And he says, no, you don't have a body, you have a soul. And he was getting like overly complicated and confusing people. But let's call it energy, because everything is energy. The energy you have in here, you want to call that a spirit? You want to call that a soul? There's a separation between the body and the spirit. This spirit in here is not attached to your body. It inhabits your body, but it's not your body. This is your body, the physical body, the one that you make move when you think. If you want to do some subconscious activity, just hold your arm still, place it on a table, and just fully relax your hand. And then stare at a finger and make it move. And you're going to see that the finger that you focus on is going to start to go like that. I'm not doing it right now, but I'm just saying, you're going to feel it do that. And you can concentrate on it. And I don't mean purposely just lift it up. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about subconscious work. I'm talking about mind control, thought control. I'm talking about relaxing your hand and just staring at which finger you want to move and wait until it moves. Don't move it intentionally. Will it to move. The will for it to move. You don't even have to look at it. You can just think about it. And just relax your hand like this and just think about it. There. You see my little finger move? You see that? You see that? You see, I'm just thinking about it. I'm not intentionally moving it. I'm just thinking. I've got my mind on my baby pinky over there. Okay? It's starting to move. There. You see? You see? You can do it too. Try it. But these are mental exercises. You want to talk about mental discipline? I don't use the word discipline too much in my teachings. And the reason why I don't use it so much in my teachings is because we've looked at discipline like a dirty word. Oh man, I got to do this. Oh man, I got to do that. That's discipline. So let's call it repetition instead of discipline. Let's call it repetition. As long as you do these things in repetition, you'll change your entire life. Thank you, lady. You will change your entire life. And I'm talking about the money you make. I'm talking about the significant other that you have. I'm talking about the friends you have. I'm talking about all of these things. I worked in some very toxic work environments. And very, very early in my life, I had to realize that coworkers are not friends. They're coworkers. Coworkers can become friends, but they're not friends. There's a difference. For many years, I had to isolate that part, right? Because I had my own companies here, and I used to service corporations here. And the people that I had to interact with over here in the corporations were totally separate from my companies and the people that I worked for in my company and worked with in my company. So now I had to compartmentalize the two, you see? And this is necessary. This is necessary because you need to make these distinctions. You need to have that much awareness. Because words have power, and those words, that power, has you join, has you engage. You can engage someone with energy. You can engage someone with words. And I'm not talking about fighting words. I'm not talking about just that. I'm talking about anything. You can make an oral contract, an oral agreement, a spiritual agreement. Okay? It's not just a casual contract. If you agree to do something, it can be on the physical plane, and it can be in the spiritual plane. Words have power. When you pray, is that physical or spiritual? It's spiritual. Okay? Be mindful do the best in the do the best in public. And then there's esoteric knowledge that is hidden from public. And then there's esoteric knowledge that is hidden from the masses. And it sounds mysterious. It's not very mysterious. You can find it. It's there. It's not hard to find. It's not difficult to understand. But like Jesus Christ said, you have to seek. Seek and ye shall find. Knock and the door shall be open. Why don't we do these things? Because we're distracted. Because we're pulled into the corporation over here. We're locked into the calendar over here. We're locked into the clock over here. We've become slaves to time over here. Time, right? You ever hear people talk about time? I don't have time for this. I don't have time for that. But when you become locked into these things, okay, just know that you don't have to. Just know that you can be in the world, but not of the world. Christians say that all the time, all day long. If you walk by faith and not by sight, what does that mean? That means to cast your net to the right side, remember? For you Christians, remember when Jesus appeared to the apostles? Right, we discussed this last week. And they weren't catching any fish. They had their net on the left side. And Jesus said, cast your net to the right. And they cast their net to the right side. And what happened? They couldn't pull the net in. There were too many fish. What's the esoteric meaning behind that allegory? Well, right hemisphere of your brain. Lean not unto your own understanding, but pay attention to your intuitive thought that comes from the right, because Jesus sits at the right hand of the Father, not the left. When you're casting your net to the left side, the left hemisphere of your brain, you're going to get logic. When you cast your net to the right, that's where infinite intelligence lives. That's where Jesus sits. The right hemisphere of the brain is where you get intuition from. That's where you get creativity from. Because you're a co-creator with God. You assist in the creation because God is in here. It's an interesting concept, isn't it? The kingdom is within. God is in here. God is your partner. Whatever you call that. You can give it another name if you want to. You can call it consciousness. You can call it source. Call it what you wish. That energy that is you in here is where God lives, in here. That life source. This is all temporary. Everything is temporary. But when you start paying attention to that right side, when you start paying attention to your intuitive thought, women know this. That's why they call it women's intuition. Women know this better than anybody because they get that feeling. They get that feeling. When you act on that feeling, things turn out, right? But you have free will, so sometimes you cancel it out. You ignore it, you dismiss it. But the power of words assists in this because of the healing properties of the right side. The healing properties of the subconscious. When you speak love, when you speak kindness, when you speak gratitude, when you speak joy and passion, enthusiasm, excitement, hope, all of these things, all of the positive emotions, satisfaction, all of the positive emotions, of which love is the strongest. And when you start doing this, what happens? You start to feel better. And when you speak these words that reflect these emotions, you start to attract better because you feel better. The Indian philosopher Shanakwa said, "Your feelings are your God." What he meant was, when you make an impression on that energy that is God, that lives in here, it returns to you in kind, because your life path comes from within. It comes from within and unfolds like this. Life doesn't happen to you like this. The people that think life happens like this are suffering from victim mentality. Life happens like this. It unfolds for you. Life happens for you based upon what's in your subconscious. And you can change it. Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization. So you can heal with words. You can also bless with words. You can pronounce blessings. Kindness. When you speak kindness, when you speak gratitude, you're speaking life. You're breathing life into things. When you bless someone with uplifting words, words of hope, words of joy, peace, gratitude, kindness, love, all of those things, you're blessing people. You're blessing them. When you're using negative emotions, when you're invoking negative emotions, worry, irritation, disappointment, anger, hate, fear, what are you doing? Are you blessing? No, not blessing. You're cursing. If you tell a child, "You should be worried about this. This is not going to be good," what are you doing? You're cursing that child. Why? Because they're going to start thinking about it. They're going to start worrying about it. It will become a legitimate worry. And you could be doing it out of the best of circumstances, out of the best of intentions, out of the very best of intentions and circumstances. Like don't go too close to the oven, you'll get burned. And pretty soon they're afraid of ovens. See, human beings are very sensitive, very sensitive. So using the right words is very important because of your subconscious, because of other people's subconscious. So you can bless with words. Kindness, gratitude, encouragement. Tell somebody they can do something. Yeah, you can do this. Come on, you got this. You got this. What about prosperity? Yeah, you can pronounce prosperity on someone. Wealth consciousness. Money flows easily, plentifully, and quickly. Write that down until it becomes a belief. Money comes easily, plentifully, and quickly. So here, let me get my pen. I am so happy and grateful now that money comes easily, plentifully, and quickly. Thank you. it works. But before it works, you have to work. The prison is here. The prison is here. You need to unlock the door. That's all I do. That's what I do for a living. Every day that I go to work, and I go to work online, I go to work like this, like you see me here, but it's private. It's on FaceTime, it's on Microsoft Teams, but I go to work like this, and all I do all day long is unlock prisons. That's all I do. I set people free. I turn the key like this and unlock the lock, throw away the lock, and open the door and go, come on, let's go, let's go, let's go. I'm a jailbreaker. That's what I do. That's what I've always done. The fastest way out is through your voice. The fastest way. I have articles on LinkedIn if you want to look it up. Just put my name in any search bar. And go look at my LinkedIn. There's an article. We put it up yesterday. My executive assistant put it up. But you need to know that your voice can heal. Your voice can soothe. You ever heard a person with a real soothing voice? Doesn't it make you feel good? That's the vibration. Now, harsh words have harsh vibrations. Loving words like love, kindness, peace. Words like gentle, soft, flow. You see? You see? Those are the words conducive to higher vibrations. Lower vibrations, yeah, you get all the derogatory terms. Do I use it? Yeah, once in a while. And inside, as soon as I use it inside, I apologize. Because sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's just for expression, sometimes it's just, like the windshield wiper I told you about, right? Good thought, bad thought, good thought, bad thought, good thought, bad thought. When you do something bad, or you do something that you didn't really want to do, or you make a mistake, here's the hack. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. Done. Done. It's called Ho'oponopono. I know it's kind of hard to pronounce. Ho'oponopono. Dr. Joe Vitale does a lot of studies into it. But it was made popular here in Hawaii. It's a Hawaiian thing. And it's a clearing. It also brings resolve. So when you have two opposing parties that are warring with each other, or feuding with each other, or upset or holding resentment against each other, you ho'oponopono. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. This is why that process is in the 12-step program. But you can do it by yourself because God lives in here. So when you speak these words, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you, you're speaking them to yourself as well as your Creator. Whoever you believe that to be, whatever you believe, I'm not here to tell you what to believe. Thank you, lady. But when you start to become aware of these things and how they work, and when you start to see the synchronicities that happen, when you start to do these things, you start to see the synchronicities and you start to see how energy works. Because when you do something, things shift one way. And when you do something else or say something else or think another way, things shift again and you go, wow. But you can't see it if you're not aware. And the fastest way to become aware is through your voice. Project long, straight tones as long as you can hold them. Think of it like a meditation and put some pressure behind it. That's what all my clients do. I'm here for you for free. My clients pay a lot of money to see me. But you can do this. This is not hard to do. It triggers oxytocin and endorphins in your brain. Your neurotransmitters start firing and you start to calm in here. Think of awareness like this. Think of this being awareness for a visual. When everything is stacked on top of you, when you have a high pressure job, when you have stress and you have tension, you have pressure on you, your awareness is like this. It's minimal. It goes into hiding. But what happens when you start to peel off layers of stress, when you start to peel off those negative emotions, which the voice does, when that starts to happen, awareness expands. And when awareness expands, that's when you have the aha moments. That's when you have those moments where you go, oh, wow, okay, I didn't know it was like that. I didn't know it worked like that, right? And then the veil lifts. God will lift the veil for you. And when God lifts the veil, what happens? You see things for what they really are. Some of my professionals get the veil lifted for the very first time. The blinders come off. Not horse blinders. Horse blinders look like this. And horse blinders are there so that the horse doesn't get distracted or spooked from things happening over there or over there. Humans have blinders that look like this. They look like this. And this is why in the Bible it says, they look, but they cannot see. They cannot see. Why can't they see? Because they're too grounded into the physical world. They're too grounded into the activities that are going on. They're too distracted into the physical things. So their awareness goes like this instead of expanding like this. This is natural. This is normal. This is fearful. This is depression. This is anxiety. This is fear. When awareness expands like this is love. This is peace. This is gratitude. This is kindness. This is joy. This is passion. This is excitement. This is enthusiasm, hope, all of those things. Then awareness is like this. When you begin to fear, awareness starts to do this. Doubt and fear. And it closes like this. Almost like a killer clamshell. It will close like this. It will still be here, but it will be numb because you are desensitized by the things happening around you. You are so used to violence and all that stuff that you see. You're numb, and your awareness is like this. And in order to wake it up, you have to unlock the prison. The prison is here. Your subconscious learns this. Your subconscious is aware that you're aware. But your subconscious trains you to be like this. Your subconscious can train you to be fearful. It memorizes fear. It memorizes doubt. You ever see those people that are always doubtful? They doubt themselves and everybody else. They doubt everything because their subconscious has doubt as its program. We live in a society that's under societal hypnosis. Do you ever see people at the red light with their hand on the wheel like this, looking at the light? They're not looking around them. They're like machines. They have become machine-like, and they're like this. They're waiting for the light to turn green. They don't look anywhere else. They're not aware of anything. They are focused on the waiting for the green light, like machines. That's hypnosis. They are hypnotized into the system. You can be in the system and not of the system. You can be in the system and aware of the system. In the Bible, when they talk about giving Caesar what belongs to Caesar, they're talking about the system. People look at the system as being evil. Whatever. It's a system. We need systems. Einstein told us that time is an illusion. There is only one long now. You're living one long now until you're not. But because there's a separation between the body and the spirit, the body is the one that dies, not the spirit, not the energy, not the energy that lives in here. So now, does it matter what happens to the body? Well, you want to keep it in good shape as long as possible, right? You want to have the body serve you. But there's a separation, and you need to see it that way. You need to understand life is energy. When you understand that everything is energy, and you understand that everything's connected and that everything affects everything else, and because of that, we see synchronicities. And because everything is tied into everything, you can become one with everything if you have that awareness. All you need to do is feel one with everything. But you can't feel one with everything if your awareness is like this. Because this is suggesting that there's pressure here. There's a bunch of junk here. There's a heavy weight here. The Christians say, give it to God. Give it to God. All this negative stuff up here, and this is your awareness inside, okay? And the heavy weight is here. And that's what they're talking about. Give it to God. So that awareness becomes like this again. Because when your awareness is like this, you're living on the mouse wheel. I call it the mouse wheel. Some people call it the merry-go-round, right? We're all having Thanksgiving dinner. Then pretty soon it's Christmas, and we all go out and we all go shopping. We all buy presents. You know, pretty soon it's New Year's, and we all celebrate with fireworks, and right? And then it's Valentine's Day, and then we all buy flowers, right? Then it's Mother's Day, then everything for Mom. Oh, then it's Father's Day in June. Oh, there's Dad, right? Wash, rinse, repeat. It's a system. I call it the mouse wheel. Monday through Friday, you're getting up, you're going to your 1040 job. Okay, you're working from Monday to Friday. Saturday, soccer for the kids. Sunday, church. Monday. So, what's the solution? The solution is to understand the awareness that you are. And the power of words will help you. When you speak words of love, words of kindness, words of encouragement, then you're blessing with words. Then you're blessing with prosperity. You're using words of prosperity and blessings. When you say things like, I'm grateful for this, or I'm grateful for that. I say, thank you, Father God, but that's just me. Sometimes I say, thank you, Jesus. I say, thank you, Yeshua. I use his real name. This morning in my meditation, I was saying Yeshua. I use his real name. You can say Jesus. It's all aimed at the same individual. However you believe, whatever you believe. But give gratitude. Say thank you. You don't even have to address it. Just say thank you. Sometimes, in the morning when I'm getting ready for my live, and I'm in the shower, I just say thank you for the water. Thank you for the shower. You know how many people don't have a shower on the planet? How many people don't have hot water? Oh my God. If you have hot water, you're amongst the minority on the planet. There's 8 billion people on the planet. Not all of them experience hot running water. So I say thank you. I say thank you for the soap. I say thank you for the little things. And the reason why you should say thank you for the little things is because if you're too big for the little things, you're too little for the big things. When you say thank you for the little things, it opens the door to the bigger things, the better things. And better things come, and better things start to appear. Everything comes to us from God through others. Through others. I always tell people about the cats at the park where I go. I do 3 miles in the morning at the park. Haven't been for a few days now. I'm focused on some work, but the cats at the park where I go to do my exercising, the cats at the park eat canned food every day. Canned food. That's the most expensive cat food there is. Not dry food, canned food. Because these 2 older ladies show up and they have a little cart and they bring their cart and they open these cans and they feed the cats in the park. There must be about 30 cats in the park. And they're the most spoiled cats I ever saw. In the park, these are wild cats. These are not house cats. They're park cats. These are tough cats. And they get the best food every day because God sends these ladies to feed them. These cats are fat, they're healthy. They don't go to a vet. They're not writing affirmations, but they eat every day. They eat canned food every day. These ladies feed the cats every day. So everything comes from God to us through others. When you learn to relax enough, the awareness starts to increase. When the awareness starts to increase, you start to understand, okay, I can be in the system and not of the system. I can be in the world and not of the world. All I have to do is maintain this pleasant demeanor, or let's say it another way, these good feelings, or let's say it another way, a positive outlook, let's say it another way, a state of relaxation. and focus on happiness. And that happiness will attract more happiness because like attracts like. It's that simple. Anger attracts more anger. It breeds anger. Momentum, if you look at everything as energy, momentum builds momentum. So if you're angry, it will breed more anger. If you're happy, it will breed more happiness. We all go through both, right? Windshield wiper, good, bad, positive, negative, angry, happy. Strive to be happy. That's why Jesus was saying, cast your net to the right side. Because that's where intuition comes from. The right hemisphere of the brain. Creativity, intuition, your connection to the superconscious. There's only the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious. Your connection to the divine. Your connection to God. The subconscious works directly with God. And whatever the programs are, that's what you're going to get. If you're not happy with what you're getting, it's easy. Fix it. Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization. And you will have a wonderful life. You will have a better life. You'll be able to live your dreams instead of just dreaming about them. They will come into the physical world and you will live them one at a time, sometimes more than one at a time. But that's what you focus on instead of the fear, instead of the violence, instead of the negativity. Cast your net to the right side and use the power of words. Thank you, Jay. Jay is telling me, see you tomorrow. Hi, Dreams. Good morning. Good morning, you guys. Thank you, lady. Thank you for all your likes. Thank you for sharing the lives, you guys. Thank you very much. So we're going to say goodbye to our international audience right now. We're on 7 platforms every morning. So join us again tomorrow at 7 a.m. Hawaii time.